Hey guys, what's up? So I put that quote on my Facebook page, like my personal Facebook page, got some comments there, but I also put it on my Instagram stories and asked you guys to reply back to me on what your thoughts were about the topic. Thank you guys so much for replying. I got a ton, like dozens of replies to that. I'm gonna read a few of them because they come from different people, some who are entrepreneurs, some who have gotten a lot of formal education. So let me read what other people have said, and then I'm gonna come back and talk about what my thoughts are on the topic. Strong Woman Fitness says, I was planning to go back to school for a bachelor's degree. I have an associate's degree. The more I spend time self-educating through research, reading online courses, the further formal education is being pushed back. The thing for me is they both are an investment, but which one will better serve me in my purpose? As for now, it's self-education, but that could change, not sure. In the meantime, there's joy in the journey. Another person said, I feel like formal education isn't for everyone and that people who choose formal education can benefit from it if it aligns with their purpose. I do believe that the benefit of self-education is that you can choose exactly what you need to learn in order to better serve your purpose. It's quicker and less expensive. The downside is that society hasn't really gotten to the point where they view self-education as valuable as formal education. So unfortunately, unless you're pursuing purpose work, it doesn't always work out well. There's so much I can say on this. I don't have a formal education, but I know I can hold my own in a room filled with doctors and lawyers, etc. The weirdest feeling when they ask where I've studied and I say everywhere and anywhere I feel necessary. Both are valuable forms of education. I have a lot of letters before my name, so this is somebody who also has a lot of higher education. Self-taught education is, she also says, self-fortune is earned by drive and determination, but I do not regret my education. Sometimes it was cumbersome and annoying, but it opened up my mind and let me know that I could branch out and find new opportunities. Education opened the door, and self-education gave the key to succeed. Thanks guys so much for commenting and replying back to me. It really was beneficial because it got me to think and see where everyone's minds were. Now, I do typically have a lot of entrepreneurs that follow me, and so I think that most of the replies that I got were from people who've said, well, I don't have a formal education, but I do have a very successful business. I don't have a formal education, but I'm able to create a life for myself, right? I'm able to have a 6-7 figure business or what have you. And so I know that there's probably a little bit of bias in the replies that I got. So I'm trying to come at this really from a place of objectivity, because I have been on both sides of the spectrum. I have many, many degrees. I also have invested very heavily in my self-education. So let's talk about the degrees first. Is there value to formal education? Absolutely, because the two letters in front of my name, when you put Dr. So-and-so, like, you are automatically viewed as an industry leader, as an expert in your field. When you have a doctor title, that means that you have researched, that means that you have empirical evidence and data to back up any claim that you have. Having those letters before my name or after my name or whatever is going to get me into many, many doors, and I understand that. Having said that, it is not going to create the money that I create. Like, I make money in my business not because I have XYZ formal education. I create the money in my business. I was able to create a 6-figure business. I'm able to, have, $10,000 months, $20,000 months, whatever the case is, because of my self-education. I invested very heavily in that so that I could have an area of specialized interest that I knew would be able to serve others and in turn create the lifestyle that I wanted to live. My doctoral degree, my master's degree, my bachelor's degrees, any certifications that I've gotten from whatever college and university, I guarantee you, have not been able to create the wealth in my life that my self-education has afforded me. And I want to be very, very clear on that, because I am super into higher education. I really am. I am a learner by nature. I'm a forever learner. I'm always learning something. I always desire to learn something. When I went back to school, when I chose the area that I was going to study, which was leadership, when I chose the topic of my dissertation, which was success and business coaching among female entrepreneurs, online entrepreneurs specifically, when I decided that that's what was going to be my area of expertise, I did that because I wanted to prove something. Obviously, I wanted to prove the validity of this industry, the validity of the coaching industry, because it gets a lot of flack. And you guys have seen it. People will say, oh, it's a scam. And I can tell you right now that it is not a scam, because I have been able to create the life that I want because I have gotten that kind of self-education. I invested in coaching, right? So yeah, you can get formal education and you can go get a job and someone can pay you $65,000 a year. Maybe they'll even pay you $80,000 a year. Maybe they'll even pay you $125,000 a year. Somebody asked me on LinkedIn if I would ever go back to working a 9-to-5 job. I said, absolutely not. They said, why? I said, because that 9-to-5 job better be able to pay me what I don't know how to make on my own. Well, the average salary in the United States is $50,000. Let's say because of all the credentials and the experience that I have, let's go ahead and triple that. Let's say $150,000 is what a company is willing to pay me. I know how to make $150,000 on my own. I know how to make $150,000 laying in my bed in yoga pants. In all honesty, I know how to make $1 million, and I have trajectory built into my business to create that amount of wealth in my life. I know how to make that. Is a company willing to pay me $1 million a year to come and work for them? Probably not. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, maybe there are, but it's gonna come with a lot of strings. I'm gonna have to be in places that I don't wanna be in. I'm gonna have to wear clothes that I don't wanna wear. I'm gonna have to work with people that I may not like or I might not wanna work with. I'm gonna probably have a boss of some sort, right? So it's gonna come with a lot of strings. Even if somebody wants to pay me $1 million salary, I'm going to have to do things that I may not necessarily wanna do. Now, I get to do whatever the heck I want. If I wanna wake up at noon, I don't, but if I wanna wake up at noon, I can. If I don't wanna work during the day, I don't have to. If I want to work during the day, I can, and I can work all day, right? I can sit here and make videos all day long and talk to you guys. I'm on Facebook. If you are my Facebook friend, you know that I'm on Facebook like 24 hours a day. Like all day long. That's my job. My job is like social media. Like that's a great job, right? And I get to help other women create wealth for themselves. I get to help other women create the lifestyle that they want because I've been able to do it. But the only reason why I've been able to do it is because I got self-education. It wasn't because of my formal education. My formal education is supplementary, in all honesty. Like I am a much bigger fan, if I'm honest, I'm a much bigger fan of self-education because it's so specialized, it's so niched, it's so, I can zone in and I can zero in on exactly what I wanna learn and not waste my money. Formal education, I'm taking like accounting classes and like finance classes and things that I could give like 2 zips about, right? In order to get a piece of paper that says that I'm this or I'm that. Like I took all these theory classes and all that I mean, maybe in my subconscious it's implanted and I'm able to use it on a subconscious level. Who really knows? But what I can say is the tactical stuff that I've learned in my self-education has afforded me the lifestyle that I'm able to live right now. I know that that is a lot and I know that that's heavy and it's going to be very, very polarizing in the industry. Higher ed versus self-ed. What is better? What I do know is that we are moving into a time and space where you're looking at formal education, the college system, and everybody looks at it and says something is broken. And why do I know that? Because many of my clients are in their 30s, 40s, and even 50s who have gotten higher education, and that higher education has not gotten them to live the life that they want. So now they're like, okay, I need to do something different. And props to them. I'm so proud of all of my clients who've been able to do that because they recognize, at 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, like, yeah, I got my master's degree. Yeah, I got whatever doctorate degree, but it's not giving me what I thought it was going to give me. It's not fulfilling my life's purpose. So let me figure something else out. And I mean, those are the kinds of people that I naturally attract into my tribe anyway. Like those are the clients that I attract. And it's not everybody. Like some people really are just fine, like, working in a whatever, like in an environment where it's more structured, where they have to be there at a certain time. They have XYZ vacation days off. Like the structure for some people is very important. And so they like that. They like having like concrete set structures because trying to do it on your own, like I create my own schedule every day and I'm in charge of that. Like who's responsible for me bringing money in? Me. Like no one else is going to do that. Like I don't get paid every 2 weeks. That's not how this works. I get paid when I work, when I put the work in, when I show up for my clients, when I'm doing the things that I need to do for my business. And that's not something that everyone's able to do. And I get that. So the point here is, after everything that I said, I value both. Formal education is going to get me to places where self-education never ever would. But my self-education is going to make me the money that my formal education never ever would. So there's two sides of the coin. I am privileged and really honored, and I feel very blessed to have experienced both things and to be able to use both things in my life and take advantage of both opportunities. This is where your decision comes in. You get to choose which one you like. Some people are like, do I go back to school? Do I start my own business? Like, what's better? The power of decision really is all that you have. So when you're making the decision, I want you to think about what Jim Rohn said. Formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. And even with a formal education, you can always supplement it with self-education or vice versa. So it does work in tandem. Like for me, I use both in my everyday life and in my business, and that, together, I think the cohesiveness of how I've been able to work them together really is a benefit. But you're in a position where you get to choose. And I think that a lot of the times that choice has been taken away from us, and I don't want it to be taken away from you. I want you to realize, I've said this before, I will say it again, your dreams are your responsibility. If you're not making the money that you want to make right now, that's not an issue outside of yourself. You will only ever make as much money as you think you are worth. When someone comes to you, you apply to a job and someone says, hey, we're willing to pay you $80,000 a year. You decide whether you're worth $80,000. They don't. They think, okay, yeah, I think she's worth $80,000. If you don't think you're worth $80,000 and you think you're worth more, then you better turn down that job and go find a job that's willing to pay you what you believe that you're worth, or create your own job, which is what I did. Like, I gave myself a raise. Like, I wasn't making the money that I'm making now when I was working a 9-to-5 job, and even in higher ed, right? So you have the choice here. Choose the one that's going to be the best one that serves you and the lifestyle that you want to live. So that's my advice there. And I really want you to think about that. Like, take some time for yourself, write it down, journal. Like, if you could paint a picture of your perfect life, what would that look like? Would you be working a 9-to-5 job? Would you be traveling? Would you be on a helicopter every other day? Would you be skydiving? Would you be laying on your couch? Would you be like me, sitting in your bed in your yoga pants, making videos or whatever the case is? Like, what is your perfect life? Once you've decided what your perfect life is, then you can start to call in the experiences that will allow you to create it. But until you're very clear on what lifestyle you want, it's going to be a hard road to navigate. You can't really figure out what you're going to do until you know where you want to go, right? And once you are certain of the outcome and you're like, this is the life that I want, once you're absolutely crystal clear on that, then I want you to start acting disproportionately in favor of that outcome. That means you hustle when you need to hustle. You grind when you need to grind. You take you take self-care and you take time off when you need to do that. But whatever life that is, you better commit to it, because it's not going to happen if you don't. So that was a pretty heavy video, I think. I wasn't intending it to be very heavy. It's long and it's a heavy video, but there it is, my opinion on the topic, just because I put it up on social media and I thought that it would be something that we could all discuss together. Let me know what you guys think. Do you have advanced degrees? How has that advanced degree allowed you to live the lifestyle that you want? Maybe you are a doctor and you get to fly all over the world and do whatever you want. Or maybe you don't have an advanced degree, but you own a business and you're very successful and you've made $1 million. And so you're like, the heck with getting, an advanced degree. Maybe I'm just gonna do what I do. Maybe I'm a Instagram model and I'm living the life of my dreams. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below though, because I'm interested in hearing what you guys have to say about it. So there it is. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time. Take care.